Good morning, everybody. I just got into a trade, the S&P, E-mini S&P. Market opened a little over half hour ago, and I'm going to go through some of the analysis that I was looking at, and the reasons for going into this trade, and then we'll see if we hit our targets. There was this pullback signal here, which is looked bullish to me. We had this climb down on this down box here, along with supply. We had a lot of selling momentum as well. But then when we hit this down wave down, we popped right back up with demand. And why it's important is because if you zoom out a bit, you'll see that this level right here is an area of support. So I'm going to draw a line there. I already had this, but I'm doing this so that I can better explain my analysis. So this is what I saw. I saw this as right here, this is a area of support. So when price moved down after this big red box and we whipped right back up, to me it looked like it's rejecting the this area right here, and we had this strong demand, so I got in on this pullback, and it looks like it's going up pretty quickly, so we might even hit our target pretty soon. I don't know. What I wanted to show also was that at this pullback there was this supply drop. You can see that from here to here, and if you compare how much supply was at this price point, and this price point is a similar area of price, but see, at this pullback it did not generate the supply like it did here, so I like to look at those things. Gonna draw a line here, because at this price point at the pullback it didn't generate anywhere near the amount of bids as it did here. So that made the pullback look really good, along with the strong demand here, and having this area of this support line. So basically this attempt at selling looks more like a failed attempt of supply, and gets and gets stopped by this area of support. So that's the initial analysis. Day has just begun, and I'm sure there will be some more trades here that we'll do. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll see how this first trade works out. Okay, so I'm back, and almost hit this target profit level. There we go. All right, so that's our first trade here, up $3,000 right here. That's the daily profit loss. I'm gonna wait a little bit before entering a new trade here if I see something come up, but let's do some basic analysis. What was the risk, what was the reward? I had my stop at this pullback. I got in about here, and we rode out the trade until here. So it was a risk reward of 3.43. So it's 7-tick stop. Target was 24 ticks. So we did pretty good. I chose this level because this is where it all began, and if I see demand continue and come back strong, we could be looking at getting back in. I'm seeing a lot of these are the things I'm looking at before I'm deciding to get into a next trade or something. I got to have an idea what the market's doing. I'm seeing that there's a buildup of buying momentum. So pretty much this supply was rejected. This selling momentum also was rejected at the support level. So we'll see if the demand confirms it, and or if things turn around. So, but right now, as it is, things look more bullish to me than bearish. So I'll pause the record. I'll be watching, continue watching, and if something comes up, we'll get into a trade at that point. Okay, so just got into another trade here, and I want to go through the analysis as well. Price went up, so it came up here, had another pullback, had some choppiness here, and I got in here. Why did I get in here? People will probably ask, okay, there's some signals here. Why didn't I get in here? Well, the signals are meant to be, places to pay attention to. Like this first pullback I saw here, it was accompanied by this big demand, rejection of the support level, and a supply drop. So it made it looked like a strong signal to me. When I saw these signals, I did not see it accompanied by, say, a supply drop or a continuation of demand. It's not that I'm not saying that the market is reversing, but you want to find where you enter. You want to enter in optimal places where you see weakness on one side and strength on another. If you look at the deltas here, you see this 169 drops to 112 on a higher high. It's just not as strong. The signal is just not as strong as, say, this was a higher delta, going from 169 to 200 or something like that. Then that would be stronger. So I decided to skip these signals right here. Then price came down here, whipped right back up, and is getting kind of stuck in this zone. So I wanted to get in here and put my stop under this swing point, because I also noticed an effort, no result situation. If we look at both of these swing points, you'll see the minus 193 and minus 266. So there's a lot more bids here and failed to make a new low. You'll also see it here in the MBox delta. You see, there's the more bids here and no low, no new low. Meanwhile, we're making higher highs, and that's very important. We are making higher highs. Probably make that blue, yeah. Meanwhile, we're making higher highs. So we whipped right back up here, and looks like it could be going back up in our direction. We're also hitting the buying momentum. The pace of the offers is outpacing the pace of the bids. So these are all nuances. These are the nuances you want to look for. These are things that make sense and things that don't. Divergences. So while the cumulative delta here may not show big demand yet, it does show we can see the effort and effort and no result, because we're having this additional supply here, no new low. So we see it in the wave delta, the MBox delta, and the cumulative delta. We see no new low here, even though this looks like supply-ish, but the M-pace shows that the offers are outpacing the bids. So I also want to talk about, the target levels that I'm looking at, because while I did set my stop here, I'm looking at this as a bullish picture, and I would like to, set my profits accordingly, I noticed that right here, this was a previous level of resistance right here. So I'm just going to move my take profit at that level. That seems like a good place to me. I like to do things that make sense. Unless the order flow analysis will show me otherwise, this is the target I want to hit. Don't know how long it's going to take, and don't know if things will change. We'll see. So I'll just pause the record and we'll come back in a little bit. All right, so I just did an add-on position. For the add-on, I placed my stop under this pullback, and I also raised the other stop. I want to lock in profits. We had another pullback here, and we had a large influx of demand come in right here in the cumulative delta. So that indication of the effort and no result on the supply and the higher lows showed that the supply was weak, and demand could come in and raise prices further, and that looks like that's what's happening right here. So it's starting to look like an even more bullish picture. We have another momentum. Here's the offers. So the offers are continuing to outpace the bids. Now we see a large amount of demand in the cumulative delta. If we draw it, that's higher than anything we've seen since the open. So that's pretty good. So this right here and this right here has failed supply, and the demand looks like it's stepping in, and it looks like we're going to hit that level. So I want to reiterate that we're shooting for this target profit level here. That makes a lot of sense. Prices could go higher after that, but for me, with these add-ons and what I stand to gain, that's will be enough for me for the day. You want to have a certain, helps to have a certain target, certain limit. If you make a certain amount in one day, then then you're done. For me, it's usually, I like to hit 5,000. If I hit 5,000 and I hit it in the first hour or two, I'm done for the day, and then I can do some other things and relax and enjoy. You don't want to be staring at the screens either all day, because that's just gonna confuse your brain, and you got to take it in doses. There's a lot of psychology that goes into trading. So I'll just pause the record, and I'll come back when there's more progress. Okay, so looks like we could be hitting it. We're like a tick away. I mean, literally, from hitting the take profit. I saw we had some springs and pullbacks, but we're getting close to the profit, so I just was waiting to hit it as is. I mean, we're literally just one tick away. It's kind of almost funny, you know, when you're so close. You're just waiting for it to just boom. Just there we go. We're out. We're done. Um, so let's look at our daily profit loss. We're up $9,375. That's a good trading day for me. You know, we're just reading the order flow, using the, you know, indicators to help find places to enter. And you know, so to recap on the day, you know, I showed these levels. You know, this turned out to be a level of support, and we ended up using this as a take profit level. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong that's the wrong one. This was the level of support. All right. And you know, we got on this pullback because we saw a lot of demand, and we saw that, you know, this level of support was holding. We had a lot of, you know, price was testing it, so bounced off of it. We saw this effort, no result here, so we got in around here. Then, you know, on this influx of demand, and we're seeing that pace of the offers is outpacing the bids, we got in on this pullback, and we're waiting to hit our profits, and we hit our profits. We saw another spring and pullback. We could continue trading, but you know, this was a previous level of resistance, so I don't really want to deal with it right now, and I'm happy with the $9,375 profit. So I'm done for the day. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time.